Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. So Man United are back in action this weekend against Manchester City at the Etihad. And yesterday, I came to you guys with bad news. There was a report in the British press that Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford were very, very doubtful and hadn't trained during the week ahead of this game. So they were going to be out of the game, it felt. And I reflected that in my predicted 11. Yet today, following Erik ten Hag's press conference, he has come with good news. Not only have we seen Erik ten Hag and Marcus Rashford pick up the manager and player of the month in the Premier League respectively, but also he has said Anthony Martial has been training all week and Marcus Rashford is back in training. So contrary to those reports, those two players could be available for this game against Manchester City, and in fact look much more likely to play than very, very doubtful as we feared 24 hours ago. Now in that video I did yesterday, if you watched it, there was a part where I said, I hope this week when I saw all the training pictures and Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford weren't in them, I hoped that Anthony Martial was training. He had just been kept out of the pictures that had been released by the club. I hoped that was the case, but then we heard that report and I thought, oh, here we go, they're not actually available. No Rashford, no Martial means we go into this game with possibly a front three of Elanga, Antony and Ronaldo, Elanga, Bruno and Antony. Like, you don't know what kind of front three we would play, especially with Rashford and Martial being out. But the fact that we could have not only one of them back, but both of them back, sets us up in a much better position going into this game. And the fact that Marcus Rashford has played more recently, the fact that the one that's been out the longest has trained the longest gives me more hope as well. And previously when we've played against Manchester City, and even if you just take that small sample size, albeit in pre-season and in that 45 minutes against Liverpool, we've played our better football with a number 9 like Anthony Martial leading the line. Now after I made that video the other day where those two were out and I predicted the lineup without them, I made a remark where I said Anthony Martial is vitally important to Man United, and people jumped on that saying, what do you mean he's important to United and this, that and the other. I mean, I get where they're coming from because of the simple fact that Martial was almost on his way out this summer until Erik ten Hag came in and, plans kind of changed. But I didn't mean it from that perspective. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Martial. I want him to succeed. I think he's a talented player. I am aware of his downfalls and I am aware of his inconsistencies. Totally get that. But my point was more in the regard that United don't actually have a number 9 that can play the system that we want to play. Marcus Rashford, for me, isn't the number 9. His goals have come for United from the left this season when a number 9 has been on the pitch in Ronaldo or in Anthony Martial. And I think he's better from that wider position. And he's not as good as Anthony Martial in terms of leading the line back to play, in the aerial duels, bringing the ball in, holding it up for others to get in. And I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, the greatest player I've ever seen, one of the greatest goal scorers ever, etc, etc. But with what Ten Hag wants to do, Anthony Martial is also the only number 9 that can do that for him. So Martial, therefore, is very important up until we get a number 9 that Erik ten Hag wants and can see, can play the system that he wants. He's not going to rely upon Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't feel. Although he could start this game and we could maybe see, or we could start Bruno as a false 9, as I suggested yesterday. And we could maybe see Martial come in for the second 45 minutes. But if those two can start, they will start. I think they're that important to what Ten Hag wants to do and what he will try and set us up to do at the Etihad. But one of the important things in my predicted 11 yesterday was I went with Casemiro, McTominay, Eriksen and Bruno as the false 9. Now if Anthony Martial starts and Rashford starts and Sancho or Antony starts, it'd probably be Sancho, Rashford and Martial if we were to start all those 3. I'll get into my predicted 11 in a bit. But if you do start those 3, then you've got that decision of Casemiro, McTominay or both. Which one do you go with there? So then that does become an issue. Or do you drop one of Eriksen or Bruno and play both of them, Casemiro or McTominay? So it'll be interesting to see how Erik ten Hag goes in that game, which is coming up this weekend. I can't wait for it. It's been a long time since Manchester United have been back in action. And thankfully, we're going to be in action very, very soon. So we've got Anthony Martial back in training. We know that Marcus Rashford, Eric Ten Hag have won Player and Manager of the Month. But let's have a look at some of those other quotes from Ten Hag ahead of this game. He says, I've played many derbies. I know what they are, what the rivalry is, what they do with each other. I know it is the most important game in the Manchester area. It excites me. You do everything to win that game. He says, we don't play against Haaland. We play against Manchester City. And he goes, his approach to the game will be by looking at ourselves, looking at Manchester United. We want to win every game. The aim for Sunday is nothing else. We have to do our best and, of course, a good plan and the execution. Anthony Martial's been training with the group all week. I'm really happy with that situation. Marcus Rashford has also joined training. That's from Eric Ten Hag ahead of this game. He also come out and backed Harry Maguire, although he didn't say he's going to start him. I think Harry Maguire may be out of this game injured. He said Harry Maguire is injured. For the rest, we have some doubts with Anthony Martial, but he was training all week with the group, so we're really happy. Marcus Rashford returns into training. We're also happy with that. I have to coach him and back him. I back him because I believe him. This is in regards to Harry Maguire. I can see his quality. Quality is there. Almost 50 caps for England. He has high potential. But then he says, and he's always said this, it's about him. We all believe in him. So he's putting it over to Harry Maguire to put in the performances. And when he gets his chance, he has to do that, which so far he hasn't for club or country this season. Nevertheless, let's get stuck into my predicted 11 for this game. I think we'll obviously see David De Gea in goal, Diogo Dalot, who's rumoured to be subject to a bid from Barcelona potentially, Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane, with Terrell Malacia at left back. So I'll go with that back five. Then I do want to see Casemiro start, but now I just can't. We could go with the same 11 that I said yesterday, maybe with Rashford and Antony either side of Bruno, or Rashford and Sancho either side of Bruno. But if Martial is fit enough to start, you start him. So I'm going to go with Casemiro, McTominay, Eriksen, Martial, Bruno, Rashford. So it's going to be like a 4-4-2 diamond, 4-3-3 with Bruno involved in the front three. If Martial and Rashford are fit enough to start, then they start, in my opinion. Obviously, you could go with a combination of, the likes of Antony, Sancho, possibly Cristiano Ronaldo, Elanga, etc. If Martial or Rashford aren't fit enough to start, but that's the team I'd go with. I feel Casemiro and McTominay will give you enough protection. Obviously, allow Malacia and Dalot to get forward as well. Eriksen is vital, I think, for playing on the counter-attack and his passing range. And we've seen what Martial and Rashford can do at the Etihad before. So that's the 11 I would go with. Let us know your 11 in the comments below. My score prediction for this game, I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Man United. I don't know why I'm so confident for this game. We could get absolutely battered. We're obviously coming up against a very good Man City side, with possibly, arguably, probably the best striker in the world playing up front for them. He scores goals for fun. But I'm confident in Martinez's and Varane's ability. I'm confident in the team's ability, the manager's ability to come up with a game plan. You can possibly add the likes of Casemiro into your squad. Martial and Rashford being back's a big factor. So I'm confident United can get a result. There might not be a win, but it'd be great to win. I think we might even go above City if we win. So big opportunity for United to close the gap on some of those above us. Arsenal and Tottenham are playing each other this weekend, but it's a difficult game, isn't it? Manchester City at the Etihad. Fingers crossed. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, your predicted 11 and of course your predicted scores. And until next time, I'm out of here, but make sure you subscribe so you get the notifications. See you in a bit.